Hello everybody, it's me again, Mario16900, and this is the intro to, well, the Soul Theory. Now, I just wanted to say that the reason why this isn't inside Gmod was formed because I don't really want to put everything on me. What I mean by that is that I have like a whole bunch of projects that I need to finish. I already have the backwind project that I need to finish. It won't be finished by the time it's summer, and I kind of just wanted to upload something just to let you guys know that I'm here. And I didn't really want to, just as I said, just put everything on me and be all stressed and stuff like that. So basically, this is going to be probably not the last actually. It's probably going to be one of the last creepypastas, or maybe not creepypastas or crappypastas, where I'll be voicing over gameplay. So anyway, here it is, the Soul Theory. Oh my gosh, this one's so doozy. There are many of us among video gaming circles who own old or damaged consoles or games, for whatever reason. No matter who you ask, there will always be someone who owns some kind of old, broken, or damaged electronic device. I was one of those people, and I took pride in being one of the few in my gaming circle to own, among other things, an original Xbox, a PlayStation 2, a GameCube, and dating back further, a Commodore Amiga, and a Nintendo 64. Wow. What a fool I was. Looking back. You may think, what's the point of owning all these consoles? Well, looking back, I think the same thing. I rarely played any of them. They just sat there, gathering dust, never used to their full potential. Until recently, I was certain that they could just sit there and wait until the day that I wanted to play them again. But in hindsight, I realized that the consoles themselves had other plans. It has often been speculated by scientists and engineers and philosophers that living things are not souls. That have souls. It is true that even inanimate objects can acquire quirks. For example, a squeaky door. However, consider a computer. It has a functional brain that is charged with electricity. Now consider an old computer. For years it has existed, constantly charged with power and possessing unlimited intelligence. Surely a computer that has existed for 10, maybe 20 years, develops quirks. I started to know something was wrong the day that my friend came home. He wants no part in this. In fact, we are no longer even friends. So his name is irrelevant. For the sake of argument, I shall call him Joe. Joe had been away for 16 weeks in Australia with his father, and upon his return I was overjoyed. I had anticipated the day of his visit since the day he left, and we were both eager to play together again. We were too old for simple make-believe games. We were both certain that computer games were where the fun was at. I wish now that we had thought otherwise. During his stay in Australia, Joe had picked up a few original Xbox games, one of which was Halo 2 Multiplayer Map Pack. For those who don't know, this is an expansion for Halo 2 in the form of a disc containing installable data that adds a few features to the game, like maps. I was reluctant to play Halo 2 as my controls were both worn out. However, the resourceful Joe had picked up 2 new ones, so we were soon on the old Xbox installing the maps. After a while of playing multiplayer, we began to get bored, so we switched to the campaign instead. Halo 2 is one of those games that no matter how many times you play it, no campaign level ever stays the same. But as Joe and I played through the second level, we began to notice several strange and outlandish differences. It started with the Brute. As we walked through the virtual African city, decimating Covenant forces, we decided to exploit a glitch to skip portions of the level by traveling across the rooftops. As we did so, however, we noticed a Brute walking into a corner. Brutes are large alien apes in Halo, who are not normally sighted until the end of the Halo 2. So we found this phenomenon rather strange. He was just walking in a corner, saying quotes from time to time. We should have just stopped playing then. Then again, why would we? After killing the Brute, who refused to fight back, by the way, we continued onwards and soon completed the level. We then switched from Halo and started playing some more original Xbox games. Star Wars Battlefront was next. A game I still look upon fondly even today, even after what it led to. We played a match on Hoth, the snow planet, on a mode called Instant Action. This means that the teams had no bonuses, no stakes, and no Jedi heroes. I knew there was an option to turn on Jedi heroes, but I kept it off, as they provided a advantage to the team who had Darth Vader. But as we started playing, we saw Darth Vader himself walking to the feet of one of our allied walkers. Joe berated me for switching Jedi heroes on, but he insisted that I always kept it off. And lo and behold, when I checked, it was off. Now this really did confuse us. We played the match again and found Vader running endlessly into the leg of an ATT. This was odd hero behavior, as they're supposed to hunt down your enemies and slay them for you. But this Vader just seemed to be running into the tank. I told Joe to get in the walker and move it forward, and when he did so, Darth carried on running towards the edge of the map. I followed him as far as I could, but I was soon confronted with the leaving battlefield message, and my character died after the usual 10 seconds. And yet, Vader continued onward. We now begin to realize that something was wrong. Like the idiots that we were, we wanted to check other games for similar glitches. We couldn't find anything in Finding Nemo or Midway arcade treasures. But things got even weirder when we loaded Sonic Heroes. We played as Team Dark, commanded by Shadow. But as we started the first track, the Team Muscle, a robot called Omega, broke formation and started running to the wall. I lost all control over him, and any attempt to make him the party leader simply hovered the camera over him and gave me no control. I continued with the level, but as I tried to pass through a gate that automatically switches Omega to the party leader, the game froze, turning the sky a grainy purple and turning Shadow Rouge and the enemies in the boxes filled with grainy lines, which sometimes happened with crash games. At this point, I opened up my Xbox to see what was wrong. Joe claimed to be able to spot a burn on the motherboard from 5 meters away. Okay. We looked over the circuitry and we soon found what we assumed to be the problem. A tiny burn over one of the motherboard capacitors. It was quite big, and on close inspection, the tiny letters could be seen. I took down a magnifying glass from the top shelf and inspected the burn more closely. When I read the letters, I recoiled in surprise, knocking into Joe as I went. The letters formed 2 words, clearly burned into the capacitor. The words were, "I'm bored." Oh my gosh. Joe and I looked at each other. After he inspected the words closely, he said that there were no other way they could have been burnt into the device without harming the rest of the hardware. And worse still, he claimed that there was no way the Xbox would function after a burn like that. We attempted to start it up again, but it would not switch on. My dad replaced the capacitor, and it was repaired the other day. I did not tell him about the burn. The next day, Joe came around again, and we booted up the Xbox and played Halo 2 again, but this time he immediately noticed another problem. After loading the popular map, Coagulation, we noticed that the sky was dull red instead of blue, and the base was black. We ventured inside. We found a simply human Marine standing in the center of the base. He began reciting quotes just like the brute had done. But this time they were much faster. As normally, the AIs on Halo wait for about 30 seconds between quotes. And this lone Marine was just reciting them and leaving no gaps in between. It got really irritating, and after realizing we couldn't kill the Marine, we left the base and explored the map. As soon as we went out of earshot of the Marine, the game crashed. Becoming desperate, I opened the Xbox again. Excuse me. And I could not see any damage at all until I inspected the hard drive. There was another burn on it. Joe inspected it again. And after a while, he looked up. The rims around his eyes were red. This happened to Joe when he had a shock. I looked myself and nearly hit my head on the table when I jumped. The words said, "Will you entertain me?" Becoming scared, I left the Xbox where it was and opened the GameCube. We scoured the innards of the device for 15 minutes, but found nothing. Sorry about that. Then we booted up. I started playing Luigi's Mansion and talked to EGAD. We were on a file that had... Wait a minute. I left the Xbox where it was and opened the GameCube. Oh, okay. We were on the file that only just started, so we skipped through the introduction and headed straight for the mansion. Inside, we saw a toad cowering against the wall, as they do. We spoke to him, and this dialogue appeared underneath. What game do you want to play? I froze. Joe tapped me on the shoulder and asked me what I'd done. I threw down the GameCube controller and in desperation booted up my PlayStation 2. I wanted to play a game that would not scare me or even unnerve me, so I decided to go with Lego Star Wars. I started a new file and began wandering around the diner as Qui-Gon Jinn. As you progress through Lego Star Wars, you unlock more characters, and these began to appear in the diner. So as I had just started the game, I was not expecting to see anyone outside apart from the second player, Obi-Wan, who was soon taken over by Joe. We explored the parking lot of the diner, and then on the far right we caught a glimpse of something pale, white, leaping off the screen. It was General Grievous, unmistakably. I attempted to chase him, but I accidentally activated one of the control consoles for the mini-kits. As anyone who played the game will know, show you the collectible and its name if you come close enough. But this one simply said, "Catch me." I tried to press the circle to exit the feature, but it would not respond. I realized the game had crashed. Joe was whimpering down my ear. What the fuck? Then I saw him in the far corner of the screen, frozen, as I still do to the crash, was the Lego form of General Grievous. He was running down into the wall. It was then I realized the burns, the glitches, the messages, they were all a medium of communication. My consoles weren't broken. They were alive. And they were bored. They didn't want to repeat the same games over and over. They wanted to play a new game. The game which they were in control. Where they were in control. Joe refused to play with me on Xbox Live ever again, and he soon stopped playing consoles altogether. He refused to talk to me, and our friendship broke down. I still occasionally play on my Xbox 360, but glitches still freak me out. Maybe one day, I will finally play my old consoles again. I might even catch the little Vader or the Lego General Grievous. But if the game crashes when I don't let it win, it makes the game very boring. And you could say the same for the other way around. The next time you quit a game or switch off the console simply because you're not winning. Or because you don't think it's fun. Think about the game itself. If the soul theory is true, you are effectively cutting off the game for the living thing inside. And you never know. It might have been having fun. Well, we just read the soul theory. Oh my gosh, it's the soul theory, alright, man? But anyway, we're gonna kind of do something different. Instead of just writing out a full review, I just wrote, the stuff that was wrong about it, stuff that was right about it, and just, come off of it on the top of my head. Stuff like that. But anyway, let's just get on with this. So, the thing that was really funny was really... The consoles have souls, like the philosophers and science. Oh my gosh! And he says that non-living things can have souls, which doesn't really make any sense. Why would non-living things have souls? What would they do with it when they break? Would they go to heaven? I don't know, and stuff like that. And then he says they can develop quirks, and I'm sorry, man, quirks are not souls, alright? They're just common things that people do, and even then. Machines don't develop quirks, okay? You just develop patterns and stuff like that, and hopefully you can fix them later on. And then let's get to the next part. Nothing scary happens. What happens in it? Just a bunch of NPCs just walking in the wall. Inside my opinion, it's just a bunch of broken AI. That's just it. Nothing scary even happens. You know what? I'm gonna put up an example right now. Right now, there's some video footage of, somebody walking through a wall, just me inside Gmail walking through a wall, and that's just it. And, it's You know, it's actually pretty scary. No, not really. It's not scary at all. I can't lie about that. And then we have the consoles communicating by writing stuff on the hardware inside the console, mind you. And they say, for game. I mean, no. They say basically, we're bored. Now, tell me this. Why would they think of such a really stupid way to communicate? Why not communicate through the game? Like, yeah, like communicate through the game. Like, that would have been creepy. That actually would have kind of scared people a little bit. But no, we just get some, you know, walking in the walls and, you know, just burn into the console. What game do you want to play? Stuff like that. And then here's another question: how did these souls even come about? Like, how did they develop? You don't tell us. Just how do the souls develop? Are they just past owners that somehow died, or do they develop over time? Do they evolve? Like, how do we know this? And then there's the last part where they say maybe I'll catch the little General Grievous to Darth Vader, and like come on, man, you're treading on troll pasta territory right now. And then we get to the ending where it's almost like it just ends kind of abruptly, inside my opinion. Like, oh, there's talking and living machines. I don't want to report this to, like, you know, all the scientists out of the world or something like that these machines somehow talk to us without any explanation. I'm just gonna, like, ignore that and just let it tear away at my friendship. Okay, whatever. I don't even care. You know, this could have had potential, alright? This creepypasta could have had potential, but there was just so much wrong with it that it was just right there to being a creepypasta, but it's just a tad lower. It's now a crappypasta. So that's just my opinion. What about you guys? What is your opinion on this creepypasta? So anyway, see you guys later. Subscribe to my channel and follow me on Twitter and stuff like that. Look at my DeviantArt and my Steam. See you guys later, and bye.